episode, another edition of Film Review. And what to review today is none other than the latest from Pete Davidson, an up and coming star, of course, Saturday Night Live guy. Lord Michaels just has a way of putting everybody in a position to succeed, kind of like a college, right? After they go through SNL, and Pete Davidson's not like he's definitely a main cast member as far as I'm concerned, but he's not in as many skits as somebody like Beck Bennett, even. Of course, Beck Bennett had the you know that good neighbor humor, whatever it is, back in the day on YouTube, all those videos with Kyle Mooney, and now of course on SNL and like every other skit. Pete's in a lot of skits too, but he's in this film he's the main guy, and it was good to see because that is a guy that got an enormous amount of respect for. But he has done a lot of good work on SNL. I love the skit where um, they keep calling him, they keep like crank calling him or whatever, and he's just like this laid back dude, and he just goes along with everything. He's like, they're like, "Do you want to play a game, Chad?" And he's like, "Yeah, okay." And then they're like, "Go outside and find a pizza, Chad." He's like, "Okay, cool." And he's just got this like nonchalant, just like going along with everything, but doesn't really know. Doesn't really know. That's disgusting. Doesn't really know the kind of danger that this game is involved with. So that's a funny skit. I think it's called Chad. I think he goes by Chad, and he's like a pool boy for Elaine from Seinfeld when she hosts SNL, and that's a really funny one too. Okay, so The King of Staten Island, tremendous film, and it's a comedy. So, like, would it be in my film class to study? Probably not, but I think it would be on like on a slow week where you know I think for comedy gurus this could be interesting to study, but it's really tied together well at the end. Um, I mean, it's a long comedy, right? 2 hours and 16 minutes, and I thought it was pretty good. I think Rotten Tomatoes. What did Rotten Tomatoes give it? Let's see. Rotten Tomatoes gave it a. Um, oh my gosh, I'm trying to make me look bad. So Rotten Tomatoes gave it. You have to actually click on the link, and then it'll take 5 minutes to load to embarrass me because they know I'm live with this. Okay, 83% on the audience score and 75% on the tomato meter. So not bad, really, and it was good. I liked it a lot. A lot of people have seen it probably already. I'm new to it. I have not seen it up until last night. I watch it completely sober. Although I do think that this is one where if you're engaged in the marijuana smoking, that could be something. But it really hits home his role as this guy kind of struggling. He's living with his mother. I guess his father's deceased. He was a firefighter, which is crazy because in real life, Pete Davidson's dad did die at 9/11. So interesting that his father was a firefighter in this film or whatever. And Bill Burr is kind of the comedian, very funny. Bill Burr, he's filling in as like this father figure that his mom meets because Pete Davidson accidentally tattooed his son that was not of legal age to tattoo, and it was just stupid. I mean, like, so Pete Davidson's like really struggling in his younger 20s, lower 20s. How do you say this? It's early 20s. Wow. Okay, so he's in his early 20s and he's just really struggling to get by. Living on Staten Island. And Staten Island's kind of like this borough where, yeah, I mean, there's some nice homes there. There's good people, but if you don't have your, s together, it can be a little overwhelming. And it's like there's a lot of police and firefighters that live on Staten Island, and but then there's like I keep going back to this kind of very uh, physics, social scientist physics, where it's like so good, so bad. And it's like, yeah, you can have that job where you're a firefighter, police officer, and everything's really good. You got your 401k, you got your pension, you're good. A lot of people live there are. And then, but there's then the other side of people where they just, aren't doing much. And his mother's a very hardworking lady. His mother, played by Marissa Tomei, which was great. She did a really good job. She goes by the name Margie in the film, Marissa Tomei, and Maud Apatow's in it. Love her as his sister, Pete Davidson's sister. So yeah, I mean it was really funny, and but there was some serious parts. I mean, it's kind of like it might be the ending where it kind of wraps up. Pete Davidson gets kicked out. Bill Burr gets kicked out of Marissa Tomei's house, and Maud's up at college at Northwestern, but not really at Northwestern. Although in real life she goes to Northwestern. Um, I don't know where she, maybe Hofstra or something, but takes place in Staten Island, obviously. So some school back east. But so they wrap it together well with Bill being a firefighter, much like Pete's father, and they knew he knew his father, and he kind of takes him into the firehouse, lets him do some chores while he stays there because Marissa Tomei kicked him out of their house, and so they're separated. Bill Burr and his mom, and it was a whole thing. It was very funny the way they put it together. I wanted to figure out who wrote it though. I was directed by Judd. Wow, of course, that's why it's so good. Um, no shit. Just that makes sense now. I get it. Like I love Judd. He's the best. I don't think he liked me at first, and then he realized who I was, and then he's much nicer to me now. Um, so okay, well that's great. So Judd did direct it. It was written by Judd and Pete, and Dave Sears is a really funny guy. I don't know if I'm saying his name right. Um, Dave's a pretty funny guy. I think he was a writer for SNL. Yeah, there's some other characters in there, people that are familiar with kind of the morning show back east, where you'd have Howard Stern. A lot of people know Howard Stern, so they know this man. They know certain Anthony um, Cumia, right? He's in this. He's got like there's a couple of good cameos. Action Bronson, another good cameo. I would say cameo, but they're just like really very small parts, but like really rich parts, like filled with excitement and laughter. um, Kevin Corrigan's in there too. A really talented guy. He's like his kind of he owns the restaurant where Pete ends up taking a job. Steve Buscemi plays a really key role. He's the main firefighter at the firehouse. He's like the chief of that particular station where Bill Burr is a firefighter, and Steve knew his father, Pete Davidson's father. So yeah, I mean it's just so funny. I thought it was Anthony Cumia. No, it's Rick Voss. Rick Voss. That's right, Rick Voss. And Rick Voss is a very funny guy. I met him in California. He's a really funny guy. Although he just let me talk. It was really strange. Like when I met him, he was like the quietest guy. He was just kind of like with his girlfriend, whatever. And it was like a Fourth of July barbecue. But I love Rick Voss. I should have realized that was Rick Voss, and I should have shut up, but I didn't. It happens to me sometimes. But happens to the best of us, I think. All right, so good. Yeah, no, it was really good. How did it do at the box office, you ask? Well, I think because COVID, it didn't do so hot. And I think if this it was released June 12th, 2020. And I'm kind of interested in the business aspect, especially when it comes to comedies, because comedies don't often make a ton of money at the box office, as opposed to something like I don't know, Aquaman, right? So it was a 35 million budget for this film. Obviously, stellar cast, just absolutely amazing cast. Marissa Tomei, Pete Davidson, Bill Burr, and Maud, and Steve, and so it only made 2.2 million at the box office because of that June 12th, 2020. So COVID really screwed that one up. But I want to go back to this because I think it's important. Pete Davidson's role in this. I think a lot of people are increasingly millennials, mid 20s now, maybe even late 20s now. I mean, this could I can see myself in Pete Davidson's shoes in a number of scenes in this, and he's just like struggling. His mom's like, you got to have more of an active role in the community. You got to do some more stuff around here. Pull your weight. He even gets a job taking his, future stepdad, if you will, Bill Burr's kids to school. He just like walks them to school, and the whole thing is like, his Bill Burr's ex-wife's like, was he weird? Did he say anything to you? And even Bill Burr is like asking his kids, is he weird? What's he like when he's walking you to school? So like they're very concerned about him because he's got like ADD and Crohn's and he's a big stoner. So and he just wants to be a tattoo artist. That's like this whole thing. He doesn't know. I guess he dropped out of high school. So I mean, a little over the top, a little like maybe a lot of us can't actually relate to being in that poor of a situation, but I think we can in some ways relate because we're just not using our full potential, not utilizing our full skill set to be a member of society. But as the movie goes on, you'll see that he kind of comes into his own. Now I don't know about the career part. That's still I don't. It's kind of ambiguous the way it ends there. But the good thing I think about studying this film would just be kind of, if anything, looking at Pete Davidson as this kind of typical millennial where ADD, Crohn's, like so many things, mental, physical, and he just doesn't know what to do. He just doesn't know what to do with himself. No father figure. Okay, just kind of floating by watching cartoons. I mean, I can't relate to all that. I mean, do I have anxiety? Yes. Do I watch cartoons? No. Like there's some things like anything. You take with it what you can, and it's like the good energy, harness in the good, carry out the bad. And but like with this film, like we could all be a Pete Davidson in this film, but obviously his role is it's a film, it's Hollywood, so it's a little over the top. But I liked it. I think it was important to study. Um, and he's got like a little girlfriend. I mean, not little, but she went to high school with him or something, and they're sleeping together, but she doesn't know what they are, and so it's very confusing. I think we can all relate to that at some point. But it's on HBO Go or HBO Max, whatever it is now. I don't know. Um, Universal. Wow. I mean, it was a really good film. I liked it a lot. So, and I'm a comedy guy. Like, I love comedy films. Not the best to study if you're a filmmaker or whatever, but this is one that I think would be like in my curriculum actually, because I love Judd, and Judd puts on great comedies that have like This Is 40. Like we study that at USC. This is 40. It's a very good film to study, and this would be right. Maybe that same week, I would put this on there too, to just study trends in society within the generations, the millennials, the Pete Davidson in this, the I guess Gen Xer with Paul Rudd, and This Is 40 would be a really good way to kind of study these films with the great Judd Apatow. So anyway, that's it for me. I'm about to watch Cardinals Dodgers. So pumped about that. Two of my favorite teams growing up. Living in St. Louis and living in Los Angeles, and Max Scherzer, the kid from Chesterfield and Mizzou. So see what he can do. A lot of people are really hoping Adam Wainwright can have a huge game in his historic career. I guess he's got one more year on his contract, so that should be cool next season too. But yeah, man, Dodger Stadium tonight's gonna be rocking. Can't wait. So good times.